everybody. Live to Under the Mat Radio. This is your host, Tech, with co-host.
And to see Gameboy, what it is, what it do.
Yes, welcome everybody. And also live, we have on the live air correspondent, the sensational one, Shinblade.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Doing good. So everybody know that this episode is titled Under the Mat Radio, Mooses and Spears, because this will be round two we will have at the top of the hour, none other than the man himself, national comedian and former guest of great show Mad TV, Eric Spears, will be joining us. Also coming up momentarily, we'll be having current Ring of Honor wrestling talent and former NFL superstar Moose Ojinnaka will be joining us. Definitely. Real quick, fans, you can follow us on Facebook at Under the Mat Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at @tac_UTMR. You can follow NSC Gameboy at
NSC Gameboy, spelled correctly.
Yeah, so you can follow the sensational one Shinblade on Twitter at
Sensational One, SHINSATIONALONE.
Also, Instagram, follow us at Under the Mat Radio, all one word. You need to email us about any ideas, any praises, any questions you may have for the Under the Mat Radio crew. Email us at underthematradio@gmail.com. I'm going to turn it over to our correspondent so he can give you all the information about our YouTube page.
Well, our YouTube page is underneath Under the Mat Radio. We do our road trips. I have a road trip playlist I have on my YouTube page, which is Shinblade. So be sure to subscribe to Under the Mat Radio on YouTube. And if you want to, you can subscribe to mine under Shinblade, SHINBLADE. And we also put up our latest episodes whenever we can. And soon enough, we're going to have our lost episodes from our previous networks coming up soon. Just keep in contact.
Yes, definitely do. NSC Gameboy, you have any announcements?
No, not really. I just wanted to tell everybody that on behalf of myself and Under the Mat, I hope they have very happy holidays. To all the different people, I know celebrate different religions. I can't say Merry Christmas, but
yeah, you can. Tell those that do celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, to all those who celebrate Christmas, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the different religions, and enjoy your time with your family, because pretty much it for right now.
Yes, please. Everybody do drive safe. Be very careful. Please don't steal anything, like a former WWE star Emma. Please learn how to use a self-checkout line, which
really.
I used to work in a whole point of sale company, and I'm not a fan of checkout lines because you always get that one person that don't know how to use it, or you get the older folks that can't really read or follow computerized directions. But I digress. Shinblade, are you what we for a call? Are you a fan of the self-checkout lines?
Actually, I am. Sometimes, like, if I'm rushing to go, I can just put it on the line and go. But if I have like a million items or so, I'd rather go on the line. But every now and then, it gets on my nerves that you have that one douche or that one lady who's texting right before she takes your order. And, she'll stand up there 30 seconds. And meanwhile, I got like $60, $70 worth of groceries. So, yeah, I just want to give them a road kick for that one. So.
True. Definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, sorry, fans, I do apologize for that delay. As we wait for Moose to call in, we normally don't do Raw reviews. We don't talk about Raw or SmackDown because everybody does that. But there is a growing concern within the IWC, Internet Wrestling community, or just fans in general, of the lackluster product that WWE has been producing lately, especially around the holiday times. So I wanted to get Shinblade, your thoughts on NSC Gameboy, your thoughts on WWE's current products leading up to the holidays.
Well,
first of all, you're going to get...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh. Well, first of all, you're going to give me a headache because I'm going to say it like I've been saying it for the past 3 or 4 weeks about the WWE product. But before I do, I'm going to have to say that Raw last night, I could have cared less and didn't do anything for the storyline. But to me, the worst Raw of the holidays was the one about 3 or 2 years ago where Alberto Del Rio ran over Santa with the car. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That was
Yeah.
one of the worst episodes ever. So I have to say that right now it's going to be an uprising in 2015 with certain promotions over WWE's product, and we all should believe that Vince McMahon should be shaking in his boots, even though he doesn't care about the other companies that are coming out. I mean, NXT, everybody's rushing home to watch that show, and I feel vindicated that since the R Evolution episode, everybody got turned on to that. We have Lucha Underground, who has a small fledgling network, which some people can see it and some people can't. They got to catch it on YouTube, but
Did you say
everybody's starting to
fledging?
like that.
You just used the word
Small,
fledging.
small company. Yeah, I did.
Fledging.
Small.
Can you explain what that means for those that may not know what that word?
Well,
Like
to
like.
reiterate, it's a small company where certain cable providers hold, like Verizon FiOS and Ghetto Tony has it. Shout out to Ghetto Tony.
Mhm.
He has it, so he can't watch Lucha Underground. So we have that one, and then we have New Japan. I don't know what that network is coming on, and we just have a whole lot of wrestling that's coming up to the point where you don't need to watch WWE anymore, or you don't have to because they're going to keep changing. And if you know what Jeff Jarrett's trying to do with Global Force Wrestling, he's trying to put talent into Global Force to the point where it rotates like all year round, so you won't have a top guy like 24/7. Like John Cena is. And then TNA's coming up with a new company, which I hope we're crossing our fingers that it doesn't be like the last 5 years, from their tired network. So right now, I should say that Vince McMahon, if you're listening, be very, very afraid.
And it's the
Game
Game
Boy.
Boy. Your thoughts?
Well, he pretty much nipped everything in the bud. I didn't watch Raw. I seen the women's match. I caught that because I was out working, so I missed Raw. And they always recap. I heard Roman Reigns did something and somebody else, and John Cena beat what's his name again. It was silly, but the women's match actually looked somewhat entertaining just because their outfits was actually entertaining. But the rest of that I can care less. There is a new revolution that's coming in wrestling in the independent scene, and I think everybody is now embracing it. I don't think that Vince McMahon is shaking in his boots because he's still been around for over 30 years. So I don't think that even with these companies coming up, it's not going to knock down the WWE. I mean, think about it. What would you do if the WWE just up and disappeared? I mean, think about all the characters in your lives that's associated with it. But I will say it will make his writers and the talent get somewhere else to go. A lot of these guys don't have nowhere to go, so they have to put up with these bad storylines and these stupid gimmicks. Now they're going to have places to go where they can be seen on television and actually be themselves and actually give decent wrestling matches and not sports entertainment. And I think that's what's going to be really the uprising of 2015. The fall of sports entertainment. That's what it should be. The fall of sports entertainment. 2015. Tweet that. The fall of sports entertainment. Like, sports entertainment needs to die. It's not entertainment no more because we already know what's coming. Sports entertainment is like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and that type of stuff. That's just my opinion. You feel me?
So you're not a fan of Peter Cottontail?
No, not at all. It's wrestling is supposed to be a story told through moves and actions and stuff. It's just like you got dancers like I know churches got like spirit dancers, and they dance to a rhythm, but the rhythm they dance to, yeah, they telling the story. Well, wrestlers, they don't dance, but when they wrestling in their matches, they tell a story, and that story is supposed to keep you intrigued until the beginning, until the end. And what sports entertainment does is, instead of the wrestling tell a story, they actually have to act like they in Hollywood and tell a story. And a lot of people can't act. That's why not everybody is in Hollywood. Just like everybody can't sing. That's why not everybody has a record deal. You feel what I'm saying? In sports entertainment, they make these people feel like they superstars, and they really ain't. They just got the title because they're associated with other guys who are superstars. And that's the misconception that the WWE gives you. Come on down to WWE, we're going to make you a star. Well, guess what? He wasn't a star before he got here. So after you finish with him, he still ain't going to be a star. Stars are not made, they're born. You feel me? Some people, they knew they was a star when they were 6 years old. And that's just how I feel. You know what I mean?
Okay. With that being said, we're going to bring in one of our fans. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio, Eric.
Yep. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man. I know you wanted to call and give your thoughts of just the product overall with WWE around the holiday time.
Yeah, Monday Night Raw was pitiful. It was basically a recap of what was shown on TLC, and I think it was a waste of time to even watch it. And plus, you seen that hoe Hogan. They gave him the right name. He's a hoe. He will always be a hoe to me.
Wow, that's kind of harsh.
Yeah. What's your current thoughts on? I know you said before you're not a big fan of him. Do you want to say why?
Because he's just a rude prick, really. He thinks he can control everything. And then when someone stand up to him, like, he get real nervous and stuff. Like, oh, wow, I can't believe he said that to me. Well, fuck you, Hogan. You ain't all that. Because I thought, really, he was just full of hype. And I thought, like, Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man Randy, and all of them were better than him, for real.
Wow, you got a lot of pent up hate over there.
Yes, Hogan is a piece of shit. He really is.
I've really never been a big Hogan fan because I don't like a guy who wins all the time. It kind of defines the point. People don't win all the time. It's just not possible or not feasible. And he wins like all the time. And that's why I don't like the John Cena character, because he wins all the time.
Yeah.
Of course.
Real quick, Eric, if you don't mind, I believe we have another caller coming on in.
Sure.
Area code 44, welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
Hey, hello?
Yes, area code 44.
Yeah, this is Moose.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, nobody answers their Twitter or their emails. Try to find out what number to call for this interview today.
Well, we do have our correspondent on the line. I do know definitely we tried to tweet. I checked the email. I know we didn't get an email at all, but we do apologize for that. Since Shimblade,
Okay.
I'm going to turn it on over to you, brother.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is I would say up and coming star of Ring of Honor Wrestling. I met him at the Ring of Honor tapings in Baltimore, Maryland on November 22nd. This is one of the few big men that's actually impressed me with his work. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Moose. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio, Moose.
What's up, man?
Not much. I've been waiting for you. I tried to reach out to you by emails and tweets, but I never got anything but retweeting, so I never got like a reply.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Like, a lot of times I'm so busy doing something that when I check my Twitter, that's the most I do is retweet or favorite. Like, unless I have specifically something to say to somebody, then I usually just retweet and or his favorite buddy. But I mean, when I make a schedule to be somewhere, 99% of the time I'm always there. So once I told you I was going to be on the show, I mean, trust me, I have it on my calendar. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
well,
I'm gonna
are you a Moose? Are you a fan? How do you feel with social media? Are you a fan of social media? If so, are you more fan of Twitter, Facebook? Were you a fan of MySpace back in the day?
Right now I'm more of a fan of Instagram. I usually don't do the Twitter thing a lot. I check it every now and then, but I'm mostly always on Instagram. But I do remember back in the day the whole MySpace era and the start of Facebook. I actually had. I don't think I ever had a. I never had a MySpace page. I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all remember Black Planet?
Oh yeah.
That was old. I think I was in high school when that came out. And I think I did have a Black Planet page, but but I'm right now a big fan of Instagram. I'm always on Instagram, and I only check. I usually use Twitter for more fan experience and just to see what everybody's saying. But I really don't post a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Anything, Gameboy?
Well, Moose, myself, thank you for coming on. I got a chance to meet you at the show here in the Maryland district I think it was last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is that there's so much diversity in Ring of Honor. You know, so many guys. You got your white wrestlers, your black wrestlers, and your other wrestlers. You feel me? And that's something that I love because, you know, the diversity is not really shown as much like it is now. But Ring of Honor has really brought it to the light in the last few years. My question to you is that now that you're a rising star or even a star itself, what is the goal that you think that you've made in 2014?
The goal I've made in 2014 or 2015?
Yes. No, this year, 2014. What is the goal that you think that you've made?
I mean, one of the biggest goals that I had set out for me early in the year was to wrestle on pay-per-view. And I didn't know what company it was going to be for. I just said I wanted to, by the end of the year, wrestle on a pay-per-view. And I obviously accomplished that this last, the last show we did with Ring of Honor, which was a pay-per-view show, Final Battle. And, so, I mean, I haven't really set out any goals for 2015. I guess I have 2 weeks to start thinking of some. But one thing about me, once I set out goals, I work more than 100% to fulfill them. So that's one thing about me. Once I have an idea and know what I want to do, I'm going to put 110% in achieving that goal.
All right. Zach?
With that being said, I'm going to turn over to Shen. I do know Shen had a couple of questions, so I want to take away from him.
Moose, one thing that people don't know is that you had an extensive career in the NFL, and you were one of those guys who easily transitioned from the NFL to wrestling. You had Bill Goldberg, you had even legends like Wahoo McDaniel, Tito Santana. What was the transition like from you playing NFL football to getting into wrestling, and also what made you get into wrestling?
The transition was actually pretty easy, and reason being is I've always been a wrestling fan. I feel like people who struggle to transition are usually people who really never watched wrestling and not big fans of it, just do it for a job or I guess a way to make money, and those people are usually people who struggle with it, and it's kind of hard for them to transition over. In my case, I've always been a big wrestling fan. I mean, I know more about wrestling than an average fan because I've been a big fan of it since I was like 8, 9 years old. I mean, always watched it, knew every wrestler, knew wrestler's move, every wrestler's music. Was just a big fan of it, and it was something I knew I wanted to do when I was very young. And just with opportunities I had with playing football, I couldn't just jump into wrestling because I had something going during the meantime. So, but the transition was very easy, honestly, because I think my passion for wrestling made it easy.
Okay. I will ask you this: as a kid growing up, can you name me 3 of your favorite wrestlers that you watched on TV, and also just to shake it up a bit, tell me one of your favorite wrestlers of today.
That's simple, easy. Big fan of Ric Flair. Big fan of Razor Ramon. And big fan of, during the WCW era, Juventud Guerrero.
Really?
I was probably the biggest Juventud Guerrero fan ever.
So you like the movie too?
But yeah, and that's funny because when a lot of people talk about lucha wrestling, they forget about him. And for some, I was more of a Juventud Guerrero fan than I was a Rey Mysterio fan. Surprisingly, I mean. Yeah. But I mean, it was Ric Flair I was a super big Ric Flair fan. Man, you got Dusty Rhodes, the full Arn Anderson. Trying to think of more guys I watched back then. I'm not really a big Tully fan.
Nobody like Tully.
No,
I don't know. I just wasn't. I mean, I guess he wasn't badass enough. I mean, I don't know. Not saying he's not a great wrestler. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
it's just like I wasn't being honest. I know Sting is probably one of the greatest wrestlers that ever did it, and I mean, he is a legend. But I just wasn't a big fan of him. Not taking anything away from him. I wasn't a big fan of Sting. Not saying that he wasn't great and he's not one of the best ever. I mean, because he is. It's just I wasn't a fan of him. Like the guys that I really like, I would do anything to watch those guys. You know, not saying that if I was in a room with him, I wouldn't walk out and be like, "Oh my God, that's Sting." But I just wasn't a big fan of. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't a big fan. He was just not one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. You know.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, it comes to this is that my friend trained. You trained under a friend of mine was Mr. Hughes. Now, can you Big Cat Curtis Hughes? Can you tell us how was that training process went? Like when you first started, was it tough? Was it lightweight? I'm not gonna say easy, but was it lightweight? Was it tough? Was it extensive? You know, like they talk about Bill DeMott and Hardcore Holly training. How was it?
Hughes training was. I mean, I won't say it was tough because of where the word I was coming from, and to this day, I don't think anything is as tough as that. But Hughes, I mean, it was pretty tough for what it was. It was tough. Definitely learned a lot from him. It was tough to the aspect that you feel soreness in places that you never really felt sore at before. Where in football, usually the norm, your knees are sore, pretty much your joints are sore. You might have some lower back pains, and you know the usual. But in wrestling, when I first started training, it was almost like there was certain spots in my back that was pretty sore, and that was from hitting the ropes, which I've never really experienced that before. The amount of bumps we had to take, just learning how to take a safe bump. I mean, you definitely got sore from doing that for the first time. And just the overall wrestling cardio was different. But like I said, coming from the world I came from, I wouldn't say it was tougher. It was just different. But it was an easier adjustment.
So
Yeah.
with that, what would you say was the toughest thing for you to grasp or adjust to coming into the world of wrestling, coming from the NFL?
Okay. I think the toughest thing to grasp was telling a good story while you're in the ring. Because that's one thing that was new to me. Because as a wrestling fan, for the longest, I was in the same boat as everybody. I thought wrestling was real. Wrestling is real, but I thought everything about wrestling was real coming up as a kid. So even as a younger adult, I just watched wrestling because I loved it. It was something great to watch. But I didn't understand while watching it, there was a certain story told. In my mind as a fan, I just thought it was move after move after move after move. And actually being a wrestler, I think the toughest part to grasp in my training was wrestling is not move after move after move after move, but it's actually a story being told. And I think that was the toughest part. The mental part pretty much was the toughest part in my transition.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind me asking, going backwards, is when you were training for the NFL, what was the toughest thing for you to grasp there?
Oh, so in the NFL, I had to change my train of thought now. I don't know. Football kind of came easy for me too. Football kind of came easy, so I guess the toughest thing to grasp is everybody is different. So the way you prepare for one opponent one week would be totally different than how you prepare for another opponent one week. So you have to go in not with a different mindset each week. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So, for example, one week, and as a rookie, you don't know this. You come in thinking, you know what, I'm going to use the same game plan I used against this one defensive man, and I'm going to do the same exact thing I did last week, this week against this defensive man, and that was tough because it doesn't work that way in the NFL. So the way I prepare for the Dwight Freeney will be 100% different than the way I prepare for Julius Peppers because they're two different players, you know.
Right.
So I think that's one thing that was tough for me to prepare for or to change, because coming from college and high school, I did the same thing, had the same mechanics. It didn't matter who I went against, and I was going to do what I do. And I could be wrong because, I was never all-pro in football, so maybe that's how you get guys who make the Pro Bowl year in and year out because they do what they do and they don't change it. I don't know, but I know one thing that I had to do to I wouldn't say survive, but to elongate my career in the NFL was adjust week after week against whoever I was going against. But, I'm not saying that's the way to do it. I could be totally wrong,
Right. And it's Gameboy?
Well, it's not too many guys we can ask because you've actually had an NFL career, and luckily you didn't have to leave it because of, scandal or anything. You have your own reasons, but it's good to have an insight like this because some of the guys that came from the NFL and got into the wrestling ring has been very boring.
Kevin Green.
You gotta understand they do the same moves like they in the NFL and everything. And when we all here under the mat, when we was watching your match, it looked very painful to your opponent. He did a very good job of making your enemy, your opponent, hurt. You can tell he was hurt because it was just. And it was surprising because for your size, like Shin illustrated, you was able to really tell the story and it just looked bad for him. And I was sitting up there and I'm watching, and I'm like, God damn, he beat the shit.
I mean, and I would take that as being a good thing because, he's still doing pretty good. He was actually great after the match. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I mean, and the goal, our job in wrestling, and I'm not trying to break kayfabe or anything like that, but our job in wrestling is to make the viewers have the same reaction that you had. Oh my God, Moose just killed that guy when I actually didn't. I actually didn't do anything to hurt him, but everybody thinks that I killed him. So I guess I did my job good that night. Thank you.
No problem. Now my question to you is about your manager, the guy who represents you, who speaks on your behalf. Tell us the story how y'all two came about your connection with. Well, maybe he's not your manager. I don't know if he's a representative of somebody. Tell us the story about him.
Stokely Hathaway. Okay, well, for the people who've been watching Ring of Honor, and for also the people who haven't been watching Ring of Honor, I'll give you a brief summary of my relationship with Stokely. So when I first got into Ring of Honor, I was supposed to have this match versus R.D. Evans, and he was on a streak. I think it was like 120-something and 0, and we were supposed to have a match. I think it was in Philly, if I wasn't mistaken. So Stokely was not really a manager at that point. He was kind of like a do-boy for R.D. Evans. And so we were supposed to have the match, and R.D. grabbed the mic before the match and pretty much pleaded and made a good case on why I should join him. And at the time, I thought, you know what? Instead of beating R.D.'s ass, maybe I could learn some things from him because he has been in Ring of Honor for a while, and I was a rookie. So instead of whooping his ass, I decided to, join him as a tag so I could be a sponge and learn and get information from him on how to further my career at Ring of Honor, So during this whole time of me working with RD, me and Stokely became, believe it or not, we started off hating each other, and that's just because we didn't know each other. And he thought that I was going to be one of those guys. He thought I was going to be just like RD and make him my do-boy also. Give me a cup of coffee here, go wash my car, stuff like that. But during the time of me working on RD, we decided that, you know what? I mean, I started talking to the guy, and the guy seemed pretty good, pretty cool. And we decided we became friends, and as the time progressed, we became best friends. So we had a conversation, and we decided, you know what, we don't need RD. He treats you like shit. He treats me like shit. How about we do our own thing and kick RD out? So that's how the whole thing at Final Battle happened. So to answer your question, Stokely is not my manager. He's more of a friend. He's actually my best friend.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Thank you for clearing that up. As the world now knows, it's not your manager at all.
Yeah.
Now,
go, Shimblade.
I have this question, and I have a statement before I say this question. Now, watching ROH wrestling, your theme music and your chant is one of the biggest pops I ever heard in the show. You come out with the music, and everybody is chanting Moose, and it's all in unison in the arena. But it may be a stupid question for me to ask you, but what possessed you to get the name Moose?
Okay, a lot of people don't know this, but Moose was a name given to me by my rookie year in the NFL by Michael Vick. For what reason he gave me that name, I have no idea. A good buddy of mine, one of my ex-teammates, Todd Mudduck McClure, we was in a training room one day, and we were always getting our ankles taped, and as a rookie, you never want to get your ankles taped before a veteran. That's like a big no-no in the NFL. So I was on the table getting my ankles taped, and Michael Vick came in the training room and was like, "Hey Moose, get the hell up." And I didn't know who the hell he was talking to, so I just ignored him and kept getting my ankles taped. So Todd McClure, a good buddy of mine to the day, he grabbed me and was like, "Hey Quinn, he's talking about you, buddy." And I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know my name was Moose," so I got up. And ever since that day when he called me Moose, everybody on the team and in the locker room started calling me Moose. I hated it. I thought it was the dumbest name ever. I have no idea why I was given that name, but it just stuck to me, and I mean now that's what I go by.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because it started from a name that I hated, and at multiple times I've actually thought about changing my first name to Moose.
Well, does anybody call you? How many people actually call you by your government, or is your name to the point where everybody just call you by your nickname?
I mean, my girlfriend calls me Quinn, and I mean,
a
lot of close people calls me Quinn, but
okay.
Everybody outside of my household calls me Moose.
Okay, so his family and close friends call you that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
it's kind of funny because a lot of my close friends don't even know me by Moose. So if you was to meet them, it was like, yeah, we just talked to Moose. They'll be like, who? So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, but it's fun. It's also funny that if you go in the wrestling world and you be like, "Yeah, I just spoke to Quinn," they'll also be like, "Who the hell is Quinn?"
Yeah,
double agent.
Yeah, I mean,
you live two separate lives if you want to.
So I did want to, since you brought up that story about Michael Vick calling you Moose, can you tell us while you were playing on the Falcons with him? What kind of guy was he before and after the whole scandal that he went through? Because to tell you the truth, I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, across the water from Newport News, and I heard about Michael Vick being this great guy for I forgot what high school. I think it was like Kickingham High School, but I knew what high school he played, or Hampton High School, and then he played for Virginia Tech, and then next you know, he made the league and he got fired in his dogfighting. And he had a brother who wasn't worth crap anyway. As far as
Marcus Vick, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't worth anything. I actually almost met him that day he pulled a gun on somebody at a McDonald's, and that was next to my mother's house. So he wasn't worth anything on paper. All he had to do was go to college and play football, and he'd be in the NFL too. But as I was asking you, how was Michael Vick as a teammate?
I mean, he was a great teammate. I mean, I played pretty much 2 years with him. He was a great guy. I mean, it was unfortunate what happened to him with the whole dog situation, and I mean, I'm sure he learned his lesson from it. But I mean, on the field and off the field, he was a great guy. I mean, a caring teammate, actually a real good teammate, and I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about him. But, I mean, like I said, it was real unfortunate that he went through the whole dogfighting situation. And, like I said, I'm sure he learned his lesson from it.
Well, and then see, you know mine with football. I used to play for the Colts, and I used to play for the Patriots. So you guys have to play with is some called, arguably the two greatest quarterbacks ever, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. What are your honest opinions on Brady and on Peyton Manning, since how you actually worked with them on their teams?
They're both great. I mean, both first ballot Hall of Famers, and I mean, they're both great. I get asked to compare who's better. I mean, honestly, and my answer every single time is who cares? Like, you're not gonna lose with either one. I mean, like, that's a hard comparison. It's like, who cares? Like, it's almost like comparing an Xbox One to a PlayStation 4. Like, they're both great. Like, you're gonna win with either one, you know. And I mean, but they're both great guys. I actually blocked for Tom Brady, and I mean, it's almost like a coach on the field, and I'm sure Peyton is the same way. I never actually, I was on the same team with him, but I never actually played with him because the year I was with the coach was the year he was going through the whole neck fusion thing. So he never actually played a game that year. He practiced a bunch, but we never actually shared a field together. So I wish I could have played with him, but I mean, just from watching him every Sunday, I mean, he's if not one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and that's the same thing with Brady.
Same thing with Belichick.
Oh yeah, Belichick, greatest coach of all time. I'll say that right now.
Greatest
coach of all time.
Yeah,
I smiles quite a bit.
I actually agree with you on that one.
I'm
he
sorry,
smiles
what
quite a bit. I mean, maybe not on camera, but off the field with behind closed doors, he smiles quite a bit. He's actually a funny guy. He's real funny actually. But I mean, in front of the cameras, his business is all as usual. So actually, that's his favorite quote: "Business as usual." But behind closed doors, he's a likable guy, great coach, funny guy, greatest coach of all time, in my opinion.
I have one question I want to ask real quick. Excuse me, Shen. I want to take off the football topic real quick. As you know, we are all black guys talking, and I enjoy this time we have with Ring of Honor and Moose, you telling us your stories and stuff. But it is an issue that is real heavy on my heart. And I do want to ask, if you like to give your opinion, I would love it to hear it. But if you don't, I understand because of your position. Of course, it's obvious what's going on in the world today in the media with the blacks, youth getting killed by the senseless violence of the police. Not all police are bad, just like not all black kids are niggers. But I do want to know with the issue with Eric Garner in New York and with Mike Brown in Ferguson and the senseless killing of the two officers who passed away this past weekend, you know, I just wanted to know your opinion about these issues and, you know, how it affected your family.
Oh man, like it put me in a weird position. And I'll try my best to answer this question without people hating me for it or disliking me for it. But I mean, obviously I am black, so it sucks to see a black guy die at any time. But I also don't know everything that happened. One thing about me, I try to stay away from negative news. But, I mean, honestly, that's why I don't watch the news a lot. Actually, I don't watch the news at all because in today's media, it's a bunch of negativity on TV. I try to stay positive. I try to stay away from that. But I don't know much about it. I mean, I heard the whole Michael Brown situation and bless his family. And, I mean, I know that sucks to lose a kid and to lose anyone, black or white or whatever race they are. I mean, so, I mean, for me not knowing what's going on and actually there to see what happened with my two eyes, I don't like to make a comment because, I mean, he could have been killed because of his race. He could have been killed because he actually reached for the cop's gun. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there to see it. So everything, I think people are quick to react without knowing what actually happened and actually being there to see what actually happened. They just go by, oh, man, the black guy got killed. That's so bad. The cops killed him because he was black. But, I mean, and that could be what happened, but it also could be he reached for the cop's gun and the cop had to do what he had to do. So, but with that being said, I mean, at the end of the day, we lost somebody, and that's very sad. So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question at all, but I really can't talk for it because I wasn't there and I don't know what happened. Only God knows. Only God, Michael Brown, and the cop knows what happened. And I mean, that's my take on it. So I mean, I usually don't like. I usually don't like to speak on it because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm just going by speculations, and I don't like making comments on stuff that I didn't see in my own two eyes, and it's a he say, she say battle, you know.
I understand, and let me just say I'm not trying to put you in a hot seat. I'm not trying to.
I mean, I know.
You know, put you uncomfortable or anything. It's just we have a radio show. You know, this is a great radio show, and we have wrestlers and entertainers and all that. And I always felt like, you know, I myself, NFC Gameboy, and I don't speak for Tech, and I don't speak for Shin. I'm speaking for myself. So if anybody have any comments or anything they want to say, don't go to the host and the correspondent. You can come to me. It's an obligation of me being a black man to address it to the people, even if it, you know, I'm not racist at all. I'm not a homophobe at all. You know, I love all people. As long as you don't disrespect me, I won't disrespect you. And the reason I ask is because this is a platform for you to speak your opinion. Mm-hmm. I think you did it very well, you know, and I'm glad that you mustered up the courage to even say that, because a lot of, I hate to say it like this, Uncle Toms would not even said that much. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. And that's real coming from real right there. You feel me? Yeah, so I thank you for your input on the issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hard situation. I mean, it's a hard situation to talk about, and it's just one of those things where, like I said, people are quick to react about things with not really knowing the full detail of it, and that's the word we live in. I mean, and as it sucks that we lost them. I mean, it's just one of those things where I usually never speak on it. I don't like to speak on it because I just don't know what happened to speak on it. And I think it would be totally wrong if I gave an input on what I see in the news, because nobody was there. The only two people that was there, I mean, the cop, obviously, and the guy that died. So I wish we was here to hear his side of it, but we're not. I mean, the thing is, we lost a life. Depending on taken away from color, from race, for skin color. I mean, he was a human and we lost a human. So, I mean, that sucks. Mother lost her child, brother lost his sibling, you know. That sucks. So, I mean, yeah.
Thank you. We thank you for that. Shimbly, real quick, we can have you ask Moose a question, then I'll ask him something before we can let him go.
Yeah, I was about to get back to football and get more controversial, because one of the things about, you play for the Patriots, and as a person, let alone a Ravens fan, I can't stand Tom Brady for anything. He's a great guy, but he cries too friggin' much. I don't know if it's the two-touch after he throws the ball, he just cries for a flag or anything like that. But
Brady.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. Yeah, talking about Brady.
I mean, Brady he's highly competitive. I could tell you that much.
Okay, I can dig that.
Highly competitive.
But also, I think Peyton Manning is too. For going from Indianapolis and going to the Broncos. I even made the joke last year that, with his head and everything like that, with the Broncos uniform, he reminds me of Timmy from South Park. So that's how it is, though. But to ask you a question, Moose, you are not only with Stokely Carmichael as far as you.
Hathaway.
Huh? Stokely Hathaway.
Hathaway. Yeah.
Stokely Carmichael is from the Black Panthers. Excuse me.
Don't.
But you're also with Prince Nana.
Yeah.
So how was Prince Nana? Because I hear so much about him, like through fans.
He's a great guy, man. Prince Nana is actually a mentor of mine, so a lot of my upbringing in Ring of Honor he has a lot to do with it. So what I usually tell everybody is because actually to get technical to it, it's four of us. It's myself, the Beast. It's Prince Nana, the mentor. It's Vader Scott, the lawyer, and then it's Stokely Hathaway, the friend. So that's pretty much all four of us in a nutshell. The Beast, the lawyer, the mentor, the best friend.
All right.
Wow, we gotta get Vader on the show.
That sounds like an album.
You said what?
Yeah, it did.
For a rap album. Young Money new album.
Right.
Most stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. real quick, Moose, before we let you go, we'll say, we follow you on Twitter, went over your pictures, and we'll have to say, I do like your setup for your TV. You have a picture of Brock, and you say studying, and you have the WWE Championship over top, your two Atlanta Falcons helmets, and then on the bottom right, you have the smoking skull belt.
Oh, man, you got it all detailed in the picture.
That's why I'm tech. Yeah, that's why he's tech.
Yeah, that's why he's tech.
Now, why did you choose the WWE, and now the WWE title that Moose has on his TV, and note this isn't stocky, it's on Twitter, which is public, is the spinner version, and you had the smoking skull belt. Why are you a fan of those two versions of the championships?
I'll be honest with you. I have all of them. I have every single title. They just had some of them are in storage. Some of them are in my bedroom. Two of them is where my video game TV is, and one of them is hung downstairs in my basement. So I have every single title. I'm just a fan of wrestling. So, and a lot of people don't know this. I have every single title from the IC title. I won't say every single title. I have the IC title. I have the spinner. I have the World Championship, the big WCW gold belt, the smoking title, the international title.
You remember the title when Flair left? When Flair left the WWF in '92, and it was the title that was used that Sting, Ron Simmons, Vader had, Barry Windham, Muda.
You're talking about the big gold belt, right?
No,
He botched
the second
on that one. He botched on that. That was the world title when Flair left, and because Flair had the big gold belt, and they had the whole story about him not returning it, so they made a world title which looked like the WWE title, and that was when Ron Simmons and Sting and Vader wore it. And I think
but
the
technical name for that is the international title. So I was wondering if Moose had that title, and a lot of people don't know about that title at all.
Yeah, I don't know about it. I don't know about that one. I might have to look that up. I do remember when Sting left with the world title, and actually no, the world title was before it was WCW. It was what was the name of the promotion?
NWA.
NWA. That's the original gold belt. It's the NWA title. And then when it became WCW, they used the same belt. Now, I think I know, when you're talking about when Flair left, what company did he leave? Was it WWE?
When he left WCW, when Jim Herd took over, he took the big gold belt to WWF, and he started blurring the belt out because he couldn't show it. And then that's when WCW brought in their title, which was originally called the international title.
Oh, no, I don't remember that one.
Yeah. But it was the world title, but they ended up calling it the international title when Flair came back. And that's when he had that little, the fusion match. That match with Flair and Sting and Clash of the Champions.
Actually, I do have a bit of a technical part in this, where the international title was a big gold belt that they bought back and said it was an NWA title, and then they switched it over, and it was the WCW World title, and they had the international title was a big gold belt that Sting had, and they unified that one, so that's what they dubbed it as.
I think I know exactly what you guys are talking about, but I thought both belts looked exactly the same.
No, Rick Rude had the title.
Okay.
He had the international title, and then he lost it to Sting, and Flair fought for it. That's when Rude had to retire. Yeah, that's the international.
Okay.
Yeah, that's real quick. We run out of time, but Moose, what title do you have in your collection? Do you feel was your favorite one?
My favorite one is definitely I'll say between the Smoking Skull and between the Smoking Skull and the Spinner. The two that you just talked about. I think those are my favorite.
Okay, cool. Cool. Do you like that? Well, do you like the fact that you have all the title belts just about, and the fact that you
said what?
actually embrace it, that you have all the title belts in your store?
Well, actually, you repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
He said congratulations to having all the title belts. You know.
Yeah, the only thing now I want to add the Ring of Honor title or a Ring of Honor title to that collection. Yeah, so I guess that would be a goal for 2015. Boom! I just set the goal, winning the Ring of Honor title.
There you go.
I just set a goal on Under the Mat Radio.
I believe you want to get that though. I believe you want to get that.
Yeah.
You know, exclusive. We got to put that on Twitter. Tweet. You know, belt for 2015. Need one for the collection.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
That's high. Moose, you have been a great guest, man. I am so great, and shout out to Shinblade for setting this up. You have been a great guest. It's rare that we get a chance to really have a guy your stature who had a tenure in the NFL and still a professional wrestler, a growing wrestler at that, at Ring of Honor. Anything you want to plug real quick? Coming dates.
I guess I could. I'll be my next show. I actually have a show this weekend in St. Louis and another one in South Carolina. And the next Ring of Honor show I'll be appearing on is Nashville, Tennessee on the New Year, 3rd of January. And if you want to find out what Moose is doing, you can follow me on Twitter at MooseNation69 or Instagram at MooseNation69 also.
All right. Very much. Moose, we thank you much for your time, man. Keep collecting those belts.
Mm-hmm.
Keep kicking tail on Ring of Honor. You got one of the best theme songs going around in wrestling period, so it's real catchy.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Hopefully we can have you back on our show very soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Moose. Thank you, man.
Happy holidays to you, man.
Thank you, bye.
Thank
you. You too.
Everybody that was a former NFL star and current Ring of Honor talent, Moose, also known as Quinn, but don't call him Quinn unless you're close friends with him.
Yeah, you don't want him punching your mouth.
Yeah, he'll give you that old flipping spear that he does.
Yeah, that move nice.
Well,
yeah,
well,
nice.
Oh my goodness.
And I will say real quick, fans, we do apologize for the botched misinformation. WCW, typical WCW, actually botched. They called both title belts the international title at one point. So, Shin, you did correct me. The big gold belt when it came back, they called it the international title. And then at one point, they was calling their own belt when Flair left the international title. But hey, we're all talking about WCW, so definitely. Real quick, do you know momentarily Ari Spears will be calling? And NFC Gameboy, what was your thoughts on Moose?
Oh, like I told him before, it's rare we have a guy of his stature who has had both life in the NFL and still a current wrestler, and who can give us the insights of the two. He's a great guy, and if he's still listening, I thank him for giving his honest opinion about the issues going on. And, I can't wait to have him back and to see more of his matches. Check out YouTube. Check out his theme song. Shin and Tech is right. It is hot, and and Shin was right. He had the biggest pop in the whole show at Ring of Honor when we was there was for Moose. So, hey, I just keep doing it, man.
Yes, definitely. And Shin Blade, your thoughts?
He was just a cool guy, and I have to really, really say that as far as this incarnation of Ring of Honor Wrestling, he's actually the first guy to be on the show from Ring of Honor, unless there's somebody else.
Yeah, you're actually right. He's the first wrestler from Ring of Honor.
So it's very big to have him in. Like a cool guy, and plus we got it first that his name came from Michael Vick.
Yes, the great legendary Michael Vick.
Yes, and we do thank Moose for giving us the breaking news and giving us information, as we always great at getting. That a lot of people don't know. Breaking news fans, just to let everybody know, Stokely Carmichael, to give by a quick Black History Month synopsis.
Oh,
we do know Shin said Stokely Carmichael, and if anybody's wondering who he is, Stokely Carmichael's dead. He died in 1998. He's mostly known for starting the Black Panther movement, Black Power. So, of course, movies such as Dead Presidents and others do talk about that, very much so. And do you remember, a lot of people don't know this, Stokely Carmichael did do work with Martin Luther King near Ebenezer Baptist Church, which, thanks to NFC Gameboy, when we went to WrestleMania 27, we got a chance to actually go to outside. But Stokely Carmichael, civil rights activist, did do work with Martin Luther King beforehand, was a leader of the SNCC. Y'all know your Black History folks. So this is all me stating this from memory. Didn't you Google for this? But Stokely Carmichael started the Black Panther movement, in case anybody wants to know. And that is your quick news updates. NC Game Boy?
All right.
Yeah, that great news. That was hot.
Black Power.
Yeah, yes. Real quick though, somebody asked me was I wanted to speak on it real quick, and I told them I was kind of up in the air on it, but I think I finally came to my conclusion. To speak on the matter of what happened this weekend, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, a young man here in Maryland, in Baltimore actually, shot his girlfriend, which she's not dead, she's in critical condition, and went to New York and killed 2 police officers. And a lot of the tension that's been going on is, where is the memory, where's the memorial for, where's the shirts and stuff for the officers? I'm just going to say that it was a heinous crime. You don't use murder to solve and to appease another murder, Murder is murder. And, hey, the people in the background, they understand, yeah.
Yeah, you heard my mother, she
yeah.
Mama.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that we're black, and I understand that we have a message. But you don't use murder to solve another murder. And to the family of those 2 officers, I send my condolences to them. Even though they that's their job, is to serve and protect, they was killed cowardly. And to the guy who was trying to, honor Eric Garner's death, that's not how you honor somebody's death, by committing another death. You honor his death by making sure that nobody else die like that, by helping the system, because the system is messed up. And it's mostly for black people, black youth, black males. I know because I'm a part of that system. I know how racial tension is. You can check my background, and I can't hide nothing. So, rest in peace to Eric Garner, and rest in peace to those officers, because a coward is still a coward. And whatever actions you think that you was trying to solve, it was cowardly. And don't forget, before he even shot these cops, he shot his girlfriend. Like, come on, man. You feel what I'm saying? He had a lot of problems, mental problems and stuff. he didn't get the help that he needed, and that's what resulted. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me, but at least you heard what I had to say. So I appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree with you, NFC Game Boy, definitely on that. But Moose, very good guy.
Yes, great.
Please, anybody follow him on Twitter at MooseNation69. Spell that correctly, please. I don't say it like NFC Game Boy, but I think you got it.
I'm sorry, I missed my cue.
His Twitter and his Twitter videos and pictures are hilarious, definitely.
Yeah, he's like Shin said, he's a funny guy. Like he has, and even when we met him in person at the show, he was just like, he didn't act like stuck up or like he was mingling with people and talking and everything. And he was just a good guy.
Hopefully, Moose doesn't mind me saying this, and he kind of already said on the show, and if he doesn't, then I'll take a little flipping spear from him. Is that I got a chance to meet Moose last year doing work for the show with good old buddy Kendrick and Jocko, the Shadow Kings in West Virginia. Very good dude Moose was, and Moose did let me know at that time he does deal with back issues at the time too, from the NFL and from wrestling. But like I say, very humble guy, not a big head. He could walk around with a big head. Tom Brady and Michael Vick played for the NFL and wrestling, but very good guy, funny guy, chill, laid back. Doesn't have a big head at all. So. And
likes Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yeah, he does.
How in the world do you make that one?
I'm sure NFC Game Boy definitely love that.
Yeah.
Now, he did say, as we for Aries to call in, he did say both were great. So NFC Game Boy, you being a professional in the video game world, do you agree?
Okay, so I have a personal beef against Sony. Beef. Like, I have legitimate hatred towards Sony. It has nothing to do with the PS4 or the PS3 or the PS2. It goes all the way back to 1995 when we had the PlayStation.
1995.
Yes, my beef goes that far back. Yes, I'm petty. I'm a Virgo. I'm sorry, but is a lot of people say you got to be Xbox or you got to be PlayStation. You can be whatever you want to be. The PlayStation 4 does have a lot of great features. The Xbox One have a lot of great features. It depends on. Some people like trophies, some people like achievements. You know what I mean? Some people like apples, some people like oranges.
Or certificates.
Or certificates.
You might get those on.
Well, you're right. You're actually right. And to tell you the truth, PlayStation and Xbox is just like Coke and Pepsi. Some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi.
Or RC Cola.
Whatever it is that you like. Huh?
Yeah, you get RC Cola. People get RC Cola at one point.
Oh my God!
In American history, was the cola. Moon Pie's RC Cola. Industrial lunch.
Where can you find an RC Cola? Like maybe at a Giant?
Go to Giant. Big up to Dave. I know she's listening. She loves Giant. Giant Shoppers, Safeway from Coach Lake. $8.
I know.
Why are we talking about RC Cola?
And breaking these. When we were in Pittsburgh, RC Cola, sure, you can buy only in Pittsburgh.
Oh God, we talking about RC Cola.
Go to NC Game Boy.
1995
beef.
I will say this: we're talking about RC Cola this week, but we were talking about Night Court last week. So
Lord, hold up. Let's not go back to that.
Marshall Winfield, who I thought was a man, little.
I'm gonna continue the story while we're waiting for Aries. Aries getting set up.
Yeah.
Okay, so in '95. Now you have to remember, I'm in my 30s, so I've been playing video games since when I was playing video games back in the day. It wasn't fun. It was very frowned upon and clownish. You got talked about, you got picked on, you got beat up if you played video games. Now
really?
you get the same thing if you don't play video games. People look at you like you're a clown and you get picked on or whatever. It's the weirdest thing, but anyway, so in '95,
really? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Back in the 80s and the 90s.
I didn't have that growing up. It was like, yeah.
Shin, you were in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Who plays video games in Virginia Beach?
A lot of people did.
A lot of people. It's an arcade, actually. It's a famous arcade in Virginia Beach.
I mean, consoles, though.
Oh, I mean,
well, no, a lot of people did. It was like when you played video games, if you had the system, you were the man in the neighborhood. You know, Genesis,
the man
Nintendo,
in the neighborhood.
That's how it was. Oh my God, you just texted me an RC Cola. Go
okay, so the reason why I hate Sony is because they single-handedly destroyed the 16-bit era. A lot of the greatest, if you go back to the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis era, they had some of the best video games and some of the best video game stories. One of my all-time favorite games is Super Metroid. It is by far one of the most intriguing, and a lot of famous video gamers, a lot of famous programmers, a lot of famous editors and guys who write these magazines will tell you Super Metroid is like in their top 5. Like, it's, if you never played the game, get a Super Nintendo, go back and play it. Like, go check it out, because it's one of those games. It was like, you know, the story was really good. The music was great. The game controls was great and all that. Sony is only here to make money. It don't care about gamers. It cares about making money. It's an entertainment company. I understand that. You're a corporation. I understand that. We had Sonny Ono on here a while back ago. You know what Sonny Ono said? The Japanese never created anything. All they do is make stuff better. So that's what the PlayStation did. It made gaming better. Unfortunately, it didn't make it fun. Like, I look at Sony like the WWE. It took wrestling and tried to make it better. You didn't have to make it better because wrestling was already better. Now we got sports entertainment, and guess what? People hate sports entertainment. You know why? Because they think sports entertainment is better than wrestling. Microsoft is a company also. But Microsoft actually cares about their gamers. Yes, they charge money, but they give you, you know, bang for your buck. Now, a lot of people can be on here and be screaming Sony is better and all that. I'm not going to argue with you about what system is better. I'm a grown-ass man, dog. And half of you guys who talk that mess will probably get your teeth knocked out if I saw you in person. Keeping it wrong. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, I like the virtual boy.
I'm just keeping it honest with you because
I heard Shin loves the virtual boy.
It's a lot of.
I never even played it.
It's a lot of tough guys online who talks a lot of, you know, and by my name being NSC Gameboy, for some reason a lot of people think I'm a kid. So when they hear my voice and I talk to them, and I'm like, yo, I'm a grown man.
Why don't you change it to Game Man? But that doesn't really have a game.
Game Man?
Yeah, that doesn't.
That sounds like a bad stripper. Like, no.
Hey, yeah. and let's not forget.
God, we're not doing this live. No.
And let's not forget. Hotline and Hustlers talked about in our interview about strippers that shake.
Yeah, well, you know they
they did.
Left us at the airport and wouldn't even give us an interview. But you know, kudos to those guys. You know, I'm not going to bash them.
You know what?
But that's my reason why I don't like Sony.
Anybody that's wondering, there's a RC Cola Moon Pie Festival that happens every year in Tennessee. Just let somebody know. Yes, it is.
How are we still talking about RC Cola?
Hey, just like Night Court. Respect the RC Cola. Do you know what the RC means in RC Cola?
Royal Crown. That's what it means.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out.
I actually knew that too.
What's
hey,
next
do you know anything about
Knee-High
Knee-High Soda? Can you provide information on Knee-High Soda? Good. We have time.
No, we're not going to sit here and talk about no damn.
We got to. Look, that's the thing about the show. We have to educate the listeners about things that we not know. So there's one little 4 kid in the world that didn't know about RC Cola, but he does today. Just like Night Court.
Old people drink RC Cola. What next, Tat? You want to talk about Sanka? You want to talk about Sanka coffee?
Really?
Well, what we can do, speaking of drinks, if you remember back in the day at WWF, remember those YJ Stingers that X-Pac used to promote and he went nowhere?
Oh, God. John Cena, Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
Trish Stratus promoted those. John Cena rapped on the commercial.
Okay, I think I was locked up around this time because I don't remember this.
You wasn't locked up in the Game Boy when Karate Fighters sponsored the Survivor Series, though.
No, I wasn't locked.
It was 1997.
Remember they used to have the little tournament?
Yeah, the little...
I remember Jerry the King Law used to always lose, like, the first round.
Yeah.
Like, he'll fight against, like, the dumbest character. Like, I think Doink was something and all that.
You want to talk about randomness. Remember every advertisement they had at the pay-per-view, they put on a blimp and it would fly around the arena, like, all the time? Karate Fighters, they had PlayStation, and they had a little funny little blimp going around.
Yeah, was it Stridex?
Stridex was one of them. It was Karate Fighters,
Castro GTX.
Yes.
Yeah, Castro was in it for a minute, too. Woo, I know they mad.
Slim Jim, of course.
Who's still selling knee-high drinks?
Oh, they are?
It's somewhere.
I've never had a knee-high drink.
That's 80s, man. I had that back in the day. They were delicious.
And then in the 80s, they used to have rock bands like David Allen Cole. Rock legends used to sponsor events, but not anymore. I'd be glad that that a lot of musicians doesn't sponsor WWE events.
Well, a lot of musicians don't watch WWE, and when they do, they thinking of the Hulk Hogan era and stuff. So they thinking it's like the same thing. Then when they come, they looking at it, and it's an experience. Don't get me wrong. The WWE does well. They the Disney world of experiences. I give them that.
You actually will. I will say this. Allow me not watch on the regular, but a lot of them have. Known of, like you said, they will mention a lot of the old school WWE. I mean, Wale's a big WWE fan, and
yes, he is.
Some other
and a big video game fan at that.
Yeah,
he uses a lot of video game references in his rap.
I wonder if Lil Wayne watches WWE. He's probably high most of the time.
Oh God,
he's fighting with his daddy.
Oh yeah, Birdie Man.
He's kissing his daddy.
Kiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me your love, boy. Come here, boy.
Sound like Django. It's that Django love.
Yeah.
Ew.
Chef Boyardee also was a famous sponsor.
Yeah, the BC with the Mick Foley on the island. Where's that?
Beefy. What, like Beefy? Something? It was Beefy, right? They just kept going on saying Beefy.
Yeah, and I will give a big shout out to, I'm going to bring him back on in. Eric, you there?
Tender, saltine.
Eric, are you there? I wonder if he is. Eric, are you still there?
I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry.
Hey, Eric, real quick, so we talk about sponsors. We got a chance to watch Monday Night Raw with Heavy J, and we were trying to figure out the WWE Immortals. They're sponsoring a lot of things. You weren't a big fan of that, were you?
It was very cartoonish. Everything was cartoonish back then. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it just promote their own stuff instead of other things. Yes, I remember that time.
So when you think of sponsorships of wrestling in general, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Sports things like Under Armour, Nike, what else do you have? Help me out, guys, help me out. Nike, Adidas, things like that. That should be a sponsor for wrestling. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember any of the sponsors. I rarely remember, but
something like basically like the sport stuff. Basically like football advertising, Adidas, Nike, New Balance, something. That makes sense to me.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Real quick, Saltine Eric. I'm gonna ask you to do one thing, and you might have to lower your volume down because you're breaking the speakers in here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we do hear some kind of feedback, Eric. If you can tone it down real quick.
All right, no problem.
All right,
is that good?
Yes. So Eric, real quick. your overall thoughts of product placement with WWE. Do you remember NFC Game Boy was away? You don't remember the YJ Stingers. Give us your memories of that.
Most commercials used to come on after when they even before the commercial or when they about to come back on. Oh my gosh. They had like John Cena on there. I remember Trish Stratus one. I remember Y2J was doing one. He was at the Y. I remember. I think they got the name from him when they say Y2J Stinger. I think I remember that because I was like, did Chris Jericho make this or something?
Oh man, that didn't really go well. Also, you remember Stacker too?
Stacker too, yes.
Yeah, we do. That was a lot of people did that.
Yeah, for some reason, they'd be like trying to promote energy drinks. This is way before Monster and what's some other energy drinks? Monster, help me out.
Monster.
Hey, Mountain Dew an energy drink?
Oh yeah, Kickstart Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Kickstart, Yep. Fat burner stuff.
Oh, yeah, the fat burners. So yeah, for some reason they'd be like using a lot of those fat burners.
Steroid type things.
Don't forget
ice cream bars.
Oh. And it's a game where you're a fan of ice cream bars with Hogan and Savage and King Kong Bundy.
No, I learned my lesson back in 1989 when I bought the Super Mario and Zelda cereal, and I mean that was the horrendous thing I ever ate in my life. So I don't feed into the whole. Yeah, I go that far back. I remember that. Like 1989, 1990, I was in third grade. I never forget that. Yeah, I ate the Super Mario Zelda cereal that used to have the little half and half. Yeah, I ate that thinking, hey, I like the game. The cereal gonna be good. Yeah, that was a bad idea. So now when they do those little like WWE I'm good.
You don't have faith in WWE.
No, I don't have faith in their beverage or food placement products or whatever. But I do have a question for Mr. Eric.
Sure.
Why don't you like the NFC Game Boy so much? Because in our past meetings, you have a lot of hatred and hostility toward the boy, and I can understand your reasons for hating me because, I am the Antoine Truth. But, I just want to know just why so much hatred toward me? Like, I never done nothing to you. I don't think so. Personally, I don't. But I just, every time we cross paths, it's just like I get that evil eye, like that CM Punk Triple H type of vibe. Like, I just don't like him, and I just want to, clear the air while we having a chance and everything. Just why the hate, man? I'm a great guy.
I don't hate you. You cool as shit, man. Always been. I just don't like the GM. I don't like your GM personality. You suck as GM. I like NFC Game Boy.
Oh, so it's the other way around. Oh, he don't like the GM. But don't worry about it. The GM, George Burkett, don't like you either. He don't like none of y'all. Like, his sole purpose is to make sure that the belt stays with the winners and it stays with someone who's used to winning. Like me. I win a lot. I'm winning right now.
That's true. That's true. That's true, NFC. But to tell you the truth, Eric just pulled the pause card, which I had to pull out because he said, I like your Game Boy. Just kind of, I just want to put that out there.
They really did.
Wow, really? That's how you gonna that's how you gonna take you gonna put
that's our correspondent sensational one that brought that.
Wow, that out of everything that was the one part that stood out to you, huh? That's where your mind was.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Sensational one, huh?
No, I heard the whole thing, and Game Boy is cool, but it was like, Eric just came up, I like your Game Boy, and it just sounded like deliberate.
Oh, shut up! Yo,
that's messed up right there, man. That's my stuff
That
right
is
there.
cold, man. That's cold.
We have fans out there who's listening, and you're implying stuff like that about the boy.
No, you got female fans that like the boy, but Saltine just came up and was just like, I like
what?
that.
Yo.
Oh man.
Hey, yo.
We fans, we do apologize.
What in the world? Wait, really?
That was worse than the Adrian Bliss. That was worse than that interview, and I just jumped back when I heard that. When somebody just called me,
what?
I muted my own mic.
This is how we gonna start with this. We do have time soon. Down the line, we will have a debate battle. We will have Eric Hughes, was on the Saltine in the wrestling community.
No, Moneymaker EH. That's not your name. That's not your name. Saltine
versus Shin Blade.
Saltine from Riot City.
Yeah, it was Saltine. Riot City gave it a name. Big ups to Riot City. And the sensational one, Shin Blade, in a debate, 10-minute debate. So Eric, you can defend yourself.
Hold up, Jack. He says he's the Moneymaker EH. What gave you the name Moneymaker? Like, who did somebody bestow that name upon you, or you just gave it to yourself?
No, he got that from the Miz.
I'm a businessman, and I make things happen, baby.
Yeah, business. Okay. Give me an example of what you mean by make things happen.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I'm good at computers and basically like in the business field. Basically, I know like contracts and everything. I know business law and business law is basically common sense.
Okay. So you make things happen in the computer world and in business. So let me get an example. When you're talking about making things happen, you're talking about if you were at a computer, when you turn it on, that is making things happen. Are we talking about that type of make things happen or something else?
No, like typing contracts. I could do much of that stuff, man. Help people out,
okay.
Giving advice.
Like administrative, mentoring.
What is the latest advice
you've given
to somebody? Hold up. What's the latest advice that you've given to somebody?
It hasn't been a while. That's been a while, like last year, man. Can't remember half the stuff happened this year.
Hey, hold up. We about to go in 2015. You talking about last year? You mean 2013?
Yes,
you mean to tell me all year round you didn't give nobody no advice?
Well, actually, if I can butt in,
okay.
Saltine may not remember that he actually did give a few people some good advice. I will vouch for him on that. I'm tech, so I definitely remember much about last month. I got a friend of ours and a mutual friend. He ended up helping out.
And I actually have to say that Saltine he mentioned somebody for advertising to me though. I still haven't checked that venture out though, but I'm gonna eventually do it once things go for the better.
Yeah.
So he does make things happen though, but I'm just wondering about the moneymaker part because I thought the Miz gave that to him.
No, that was years ago.
But then again, with the moneymaker gimmick, you're doing a lot better than the Miz with that. So that says a lot.
Thank you.
So you're right there.
Real quick, a fan just sent us a message and they wanted to say something to NSC Gameboy. They said, let NSC Gameboy know that Sony sucks eggs.
Thank you. Thank you, fan.
Another fan that doesn't like Sony products, which Sony actually helped sponsor, sponsorships, the movie The Equalizer with Denzel Washington.
The same one that they ridicule Denzel Washington because they shout out to those guys too.
Oh yeah, getting hacked all the time.
Yeah, they put in emails and stuff.
Yeah,
talking about Denzel.
And they said that President Obama liked Kevin Hart or something. Like Kevin Hart movies and 12 Years a Slave. Those crazy emails they put out. Yeah.
Mm.
I just leave the PS3 to the PS3, so I don't put much behind it. So.
I believe that North Korea. I believe North Korea has something to do with it because Koreans hate Japanese people. So.
Well, to tell you the
which is crazy because I actually can speak a little bit Japanese.
Well, to tell you the truth, NSC Game Boy, I think as far as the Koreans are concerned, I think the dictator Kim Jong Un is the anonymous Raw GM. So
that was ill, not
Yeah, Kim Jong Il.
No, Kim Jong Un, the one now.
Oh,
Kim
that's
Jong
right,
Il's dead.
Yeah,
Kim Jong Il's son.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim
He
Jong
died. He died like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What was it, 2-3 years ago?
I will
Yeah,
say a
something
funny
like
clip
that.
is when he actually fell down the steps. Kim Jong Il. If you look that up on YouTube, hilarious.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's walking and he just tripped down the steps.
Now,
I can hear the Benny Hill music in my mind when that happens.
Real quick, Saltine Eric, give us real quick your takes on the PS4 and the Xbox One, which one you think is better. Moose did say how he felt both were great, and NC Game Boy has a long loathe and hatred towards Sony since 1995. So what's your thoughts real quick?
I believe Xbox is better with multiplayer. When you play multiplayer games on Xbox, is more fluent compared to PlayStation. It's like sometimes it be laggy and sometimes cut off. Because when I play on PlayStation 3, because I had one Call of Duty game and it was like cutting me off, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then when I was playing on Xbox, it was much better. It was like it was loading right. It was flowing. I just don't understand. It's like PS3. I mean, not PS3. I should say PS3, PS4. They need to work on the multiplayer better, I believe.
Okay. With that being said, Eric Keys, we thank you, Moneymaker. Saltine, thank you much for supporting the show, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank
Real
you.
quick, Frank, we do want to make an announcement. We do apologize once again. Just got in contact and some information. Eric Spears will not be able to make the show. We do apologize. Some things came up. We already know he is nationally known, very busy. So we do apologize. We will have him back on the show next year. We will give you a date once we get a date confirmed. We do know a sensational one, a correspondent will be working on those details. So we do apologize for that. So, and somebody just Facebooked and said this episode could be called Moose and Sony's.
Moose and Sony's. Yeah.
Could definitely be.
I can take that one.
Yeah. With that, also, since we are on here and we're talking about sponsorships and video games or whatnot, you think of wrestling video games, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
We had this conversation before, but
no, I'm asking. I don't know. We got the action. The first thing.
Are you talking about the first thing or my favorite?
No, first thing.
I mean, the first thing is WWE, but one of my favorite wrestling games was called Saturday Night Slam Master.
Very great, and I would love for WWE to come up with a good arcade-ish video game, like the WrestleMania arcade game. Same message.
Well, they had the WrestleFest game that they repackaged and bought out, but it was only for like mobile devices, and I was waiting for PlayStation and Xbox, and it never came out. I guess because of THQ bankrupting, but it'd have been awesome to have that game on the system.
Well, of course, since we do have time, anybody wants to call in and talk anything wrestling, you call in 760-888-5749. Don't, that cough is a part of the number. 760-888-5749. Press 1. We do have to address the big viral news in the wrestling world is CM Punk is officially signed with UFC.
Please call in.
So I want to, and Champlain, and I'm gonna have NC Game Boy give his thoughts. What's your thoughts on CM Punk now making the transition from being a pro wrestler to sports entertainer now to UFC fighter?
Well, I think a lot of people are forgetting something. CM Punk actually can fight. And the reason why I say this is because, a lot of people say that, he doesn't have a martial arts background and, he's just doing it for publicity or something. But if you watch CM Punk's work, he do what he has to do because he's in the field where he has to. But he actually have trained for years. I do believe that when he finally gets in the octagon, a lot of people are going to be surprised, and a lot of people are going to be apologetic because they're going to start to see and realize what I think we all agree, that CM Punk actually is going to do well in the UFC. Now, granted, this ain't scripted storylines and telltale endings, but this is fighting, and CM Punk has been fighting his whole life. Like, he didn't come with a silver spoon. He didn't come from a legendary family. He came from the gutter. Hey, any guy who came from the gutter, he came from where I came from, because that's where I came from. We came from the gutter, and we still fight. And if you think that CM Punk is just going to go in there and embarrass himself, and he's just going there just to get some money or whatever, then you don't know CM Punk, because if he was all about the money, he'd been back at WWE, still giving us great promos, still great matches, and still taking everybody else's money because he's still the best thing there. So that's my opinion on it.
Shimbley, your thoughts?
Well, personally, with CM Punk, I like the road that he's taking. He's not going to say, I'm going to fight the top guys on the roster. He's going to go against somebody that's going to be 0-0 or 1-0, 0-1 at that lower level. And I applaud him for that, because he's not trying, like NXT Gameboy said, he is not trying to be like the moneymaker like Brock Lesnar was coming in, because Brock didn't know his first fight, and he had to retrain. Like everybody says, Punk came from meager background, and father drank his liver, and his mother was whatever with her. So I respect him a whole lot, because he's trying to go to this venue, and then like Game Boy said, he could have still stayed in WWE, but to me, that staph infection bump on his back thing, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think personally, if Punk wasn't tired of wrestling, he would have went to Global Force or whatever have you. Just like Alberto Del Rio, who is now Alberto El Patron. And also shout out to Princess Wrestling, who follows me vigorously on Twitter, who is a big Del Rio fan. So my thing about Punk is I'm waiting with bated breath to see his first fight. No, that's actually a term.
Bated breath.
Yeah, that's actually a term.
I'll say that we all know, the NXT Game Boy said, we all know that CM Punk can fight. He's a legit fighter. I do agree with his move. Very smart business move. He decided to make the move once everything went viral again, and his there's a term in the wrestling is called getting over. And of course, Punk was over a lot during his run, I believe in 2012, definitely after the pipe bomb. He was outselling Cena, merchandise. But then steam kind of went down, of course, at Default Taker. We all know the issues that happened, and once he left. So Punk did a great business move with deciding, okay, things are hot. He has money in the bank. He's comfortable. Why not go to another genre of UFC that he's already a fan of? So I agree with Punk. I'm glad he made the move. Very smart decision. He does know how to fight. Problem is, this is a whole nother world. So he's going against, and like Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock said on this show, and even Boss, is that hopefully they book CM Punk's opponents according to his experience, unlike they did Brock. So hopefully CM Punk goes in facing someone that's on his level, because I don't care how good of a fighter you are, with him being fresh and being a rookie, that's my opinion, going into UFC. if he goes against somebody that's more experienced and has been doing this for a long time, right off the jump, he's going to lose.
Well, he said that in his own words.
Right. So, and Punk's a smart guy. So, I'm glad that Punk is doing this. Definitely great business ploy for him and UFC. Now, also, let's think of this wild card before I bring in a caller, is this. What if Brock decides to go back to UFC after WrestleMania? So now you have Brock and CM Punk in the UFC.
Well, once again, you just said, Brock is a lot more experienced fighter. I mean, he's a UFC champion. And CM Punk is working his way up. If that was to ever come to fruition, it will definitely take a while. You're talking about maybe a year or two before you would ever see that. I personally don't want to see it. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar and CM Punk in the octagon. I think it's a big mismatch between the two. I think that it only will draw because they both WWE stars, and they had that. If it wasn't for that, it'd just be Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk, and that's it.
Well, I want to know. I'm not even sure they would really face each other because of the weight difference.
And that was about to be my final point.
Yeah.
The class. He's a heavyweight, and it's. Even if they was the same weight, I still don't think it would be. I think it looked good on paper. I don't think it will look good in the octagon because, Punk don't really have no real beef with Brock, and I don't think Brock has no real beef with Punk. Behind closed doors.
Oh no.
They generally just cool with each other, which is fine. But with the media hyping it up and stuff, that's not something I would think that would do well. It would just draw in money, but I don't think the match would be to the caliber that we would want it to be.
Right. Real quick, that being said, thanks for the answer, Gameboy. We're gonna bring in a couple callers. Area code T40. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
I have a question about CM Punk. Which wrestlers in WWE do you think that can beat CM Punk in UFC fighting in middleweight division?
This is Sheiky. Thanks, buddy, for calling. Repeat your question again.
Okay, any wrestlers in the WWE or Impact Wrestling that can beat CM Punk in a UFC fighting at middleweight weight limit?
Offhand, that's a good question. I knew Jericho could hold his own.
That's what I was going to say.
Jericho. Shane, can you think anybody? Joe's enough. Well, Joe is really middleweight. He's a little heavy. I can't count
Basically,
Joe.
just took that from me. Samoa Joe. You said what wrestler could take Punk in the octagon?
Yeah.
But it gotta be in the same weight though.
Yeah, same weight.
I'm thinking two guys. One is Kenta, and the other one is Devitt, Finn Balor. I think they could go 1-on-1. I mean, you see Kenta's matches. I mean, he got a lot of striking. Finn Balor, I think he just has presentation with the body paint, which is for special events. If people will stop asking me about that.
Okay.
Cheeky, who do you think could take CM Punk on in the octagon and Impact the WWE?
I think Davey Richards, possibly.
Anybody else?
That's the only one that came to mind.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add for your thoughts of Raw last night, or any thoughts you got for this Wrestle Kingdom 9 coming up in January?
That's the final question. Do you foresee any females in wrestling, either wrestle for WWE or Impact Wrestling, getting into the UFC? And if so, who?
Females?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, females going to UFC. I would think more so on like the Impact area. That's a good one, Cheeky. I really don't see any female WWE right now that would do big that jump. What about y'all?
I know a female, but she's not in any of the federations. But I think also Khan would probably, with the right training, I think she would actually be kind of a formidable opponent.
Do you think anybody, Cheeky?
Possibly Natalia, but that's just a guess. It's based on her dungeon experience.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I debate that one because Natalia is just a grappler, and a lot of times in MMA you have to be like multifaceted, at least about 2 or more styles in order to succeed in the MMA ring. I don't think one could. And Gameboy can correct me, but I don't think one style could actually make you a great fighter in UFC or Bellator or anything like that. I think you have to be 2 or more, like a hybrid. Yeah, like grapplers don't. And I'm not trying to crap on anybody, but grapplers don't really win matches. Because they have to grab you, and strikers can, but they have to wrap you up in moves in order to get the submission. So you have to know both, and that's where Brock Lesnar failed in his first fight. And next, he did training. He came back and he was a champ for a while. So that's just my belief, though. But my thing is that if you want to talk about females that get into MMA, you got to go to Japan because most of those females can strike and grapple. I mean, now if you go on U.S. television, I could say, and it's a far stretch, I could say Sexy Sky from Lucha Underground.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. Well, Cheeky, thanks so much, man, for calling in. Thanks so much for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheeky.
This is a good old follower, Cheeky, that's been following us since day one. Cheeky also let you know, due to some technical difficulties and whatnot, we did not forget about your prize. So we will be shipping that to you in the beginning of the new year. So bringing it now, real quick, good old buddy General T-Storm, good spokesman for the winners. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on,
good. I know I know you wanted to call real quick and about 2 or 3 minutes. Express what's on your heart. I know you had some words to say towards Jimmy Dream and Adam Ugly.
Yeah. First of all, Adam Ugly. The night was the cage fight before Christmas. I was just sitting there, and I was shoving my sign right in front of his face, telling him how bad him and Jimmy are as tag team partners. Jimmy, I think you're just a control freak. You know what, Jimmy? I think you might want to hear this from everybody that I've heard and I've been talking to lately. Everybody in that locker room, half of those guys don't even like you. They don't like your attitude. They don't like the way how you think you know everything. No. People don't want some cocky-ass freaking idiot like you to be, acting like you're the king of the shit backstage. Nobody likes that. Now, Adam, let me get back to you. You came up to me. You wanted to see my sign. I showed you my sign. But for you to rip it, what the hell were you thinking? When Andy Weinberg saw you rip it, he told me? He said, Adam's going to get his ass beat in the new year of 2015. And if Jimmy ever gets in the middle, his ass is going to get beat again and again and again. But for that night, when the winners beat you guys, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, you guys may call Andy Weinberg and the winners losers and call me and a bunch of other people losers. No. All the guys from Under the Mat Radio know how you are, Jimmy and Adam. They don't like you. And you know what? One last thing is, for you and Adam, that you guys need to know how to respect people and the fans. I respect you guys for what you do in that ring, I don't respect you for disrespecting me, Andy Weinberg, and my colleague, Morgan, and the winners. No.
Okay.
We don't take that.
Okay.
And you know what, NFC Game Boy?
Yes, sir.
You were right about Sony. Yeah, they do suck eggs. Because I was the one that said that.
Yeah,
but
General T. Storm did say that. Well, General T. Storm, thank you again for calling. Keep supporting. And,
yes, the winners.
We will try to get a hold of Jimmy Dream and Adam Ugly. Once we're able to get them back on the show scene, we'll make sure we'll have you on so you can hear their response, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I want them to tell me what they think. Because you know what? I have one last thing before I still listen to you guys. Is that, Jimmy, you may think you are better, smarter, and you really think you're pretty. You know what? I've been talking to a lot of fans and a lot of friends of mine, and you know what they think of you? You're goddamn ugly. So get that. Your partner, Adam, his name is Adam Ugly. His name should be changed to something else that's stupid. And that is Adam Loser. And the name for you, Jimmy, is Jimmy the Loser Punk. All right, guys.
All right.
All right,
Jimmy.
babe.
You guys.
Thank you. Thanks. That was General T. Stone, speaker for the winners, and even the dogs agreed. But real quick, we're going to break in our good old man to close it out for the next 5 minutes. Toph, what's up, man?
Toph.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yo, what's up?
What's going on? Of course, you know you always call in and give your history lessons and give your little words.
No, nothing this week. I mean, I only have something to say is whatever is, you know, if WWE is doing something good or something bad, then I guess what I'm really trying to say is it's like 106 in Park, rest in peace, 106. 106 is only as good as hip-hop is, and, you know, the 106 fell off because hip-hop fell off, but that's another story. I mean, at least AJ and Free got the last show. But let's see. Let's end things on a good note. I've talked about this with Tech privately. I think 2015 is looking like a good year for the battle of number 2. WWE, even though it's seen better days, is still number 1. We just have to accept that. But what about number 2? We got Impact Wrestling and their reboot, Destination America. You got Lucha Underground, its stock is rising. You got Ring of Honor, they're doing live pay-per-views. They just signed Del Rio. He's doing some work. He's making some waves going on. They're making more TV deals up north. You got Lucha Underground. Well, I said Lucha Underground. You got NXT. I'm going to count NXT simply because it's so different from the main product, and it's pretty clear that whoever's in charge of booking, writing is not in charge in WWE, you know. So Triple H definitely knows what he's doing from a creative standpoint. And we got New Japan Pro Wrestling and Global Force Wrestling. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is with Global Force. I know they got a show on January 4th, Wrestle Kingdom 9. I know JR is going to be hosting that. Matt Stryker will be doing color commentary with him. They seem to focus that show on the Bullet Club. So 2015 looks like it's going to be an exciting year for wrestling as far as number 2 goes, because, you know, we've all said TNA is number 2, but I actually think TNA's number 2 status is being threatened and questioned, you know, and I don't know if anybody has Destination America, but my mom, she watches it all the time because they have a lot of ghost shows and stuff, and they have a lot more Impact Wrestling ads on Destination America in like 2 weeks than I've seen Spike do in like 5 years, because Spike was always advertising like MMA, UFC stuff, you know, and I'm actually happy that TNA is moving to Friday, and they got a show coming on Saturday because those are untapped markets. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is it just annoys me every Monday, like when I see these long threads for Raw, and it's like over maybe 600, 700 comments, and people are just saying how bad the show is. Then I see other shows that are good, and I never see a thread. Like, how many times do you, like, scroll through Facebook? How many times do you see a thread for NXT or a thread for Ring of Honor? Like, you know, there are other shows out there, guys. So to all the listeners out there, like, if you're tired of WWE, just watch other stuff, man. It's out there. You just got to find it.
Well, you said the magic words NXT. That means Shinblade is going to have a little big smile on his face.
No. Actually, for Toph, and for those who don't know, Under the Mat Radio, I do Inside Wrestling with Nate Manzo, and Toph is on the show. So Toph is kind of like my partner on the show, podcast. Yeah. So I agree with everything that you're saying. It's like if you don't like WWE product, it's always something to go to. So my thing is that I still watch the Raw and SmackDown product, and we talk about how bad it is, but I always try to put a positive alternative to say, like, look, Raw is bad, SmackDown is bad. You got NXT, you have Lucha Underground, you got Global Force when it comes out.
Oh, by the way, don't forget that there's also Japan that has wrestling that people could be watching too. Great matches also.
They got a deal with AXS TV or something. So I agree with Toph says, and I follow Toph. I follow Toph on Facebook, and he posts that stuff, and I actually agree with that because when people when I meet people in independent shows, they're saying like how bad WWE is and this, that, and the third. And I have to say is that what else is there to watch? We have like a groundswelling of shows that's coming out, and plus, independent shows that we go to, they're up in their game as well. They're trying to be like the number 3 or the number 4s. So, Toph, I do agree with you. Thank you for putting that statement out, and like I said,
I want to see real quick. Big shout out to our man Nate, who's hilarious. Shane does a lot of the, depending on our schedules, me and NSC Gameboy and always available to do Nate's show Inside Wrestling. But Shin Blaze is a regular on there. Very great show. If you get a chance, please check out Nate's show. Was posted on Under the Mat Radio. John Cena versus the World pay-per-view. It's hilarious. Where John Cena kicks out and real quick, Shan. Where John Cena actually does defeat almost everybody. He kicks out from an atomic bomb, Jesus and the Wise Men, Ebola, the Illuminati, everything that goes you can face.
Wow, even the Illuminati could beat John Cena. That's messed up.
No, they can't. Yeah, even the Illuminati can't.
Dang, that's messed up.
Yeah. Speaking of it, real quick, so 30 seconds. Black man went on Raw last night. R-Truth.
Yeah, there's no joke for that. It writes itself. Maybe he should be part of the New Day. No, that's good.
Yeah, maybe he should.
No.
Speaking of Lucha, real quick, Shin, while we got Toph on line, real quick. Speaking of Lucha Underground, make the announcement for the next show.
I got 2 of them real quick. Number 1, next week we will be having Lucha Underground executive producer Eric Van Wagenen. And we also have Skip Bedell from Catch a Contractor. And also, speaking of podcasts, I will be doing one next month for the Independent Podcast.
Yes. All right, guys. So, if anything you wanna add or promote real quick?
Oh, no, nothing. Just have a happy Christmas and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy holidays. Hashtag Toast Tim Juice. With that being said, fans, thank you much. We will catch you next week. We do apologize. Everybody, Ari Spears was not able to make it. We will be bringing them back very soon once we confirm a date. Thanks everybody that called in. General T Storm. Thank you, Saltine Eric Hughes. Thank you, Moose, for calling in, sharing stuff. Of course, thanks for everybody listening. Tennessee Gameboy, Shin.
I just want to say 2015, the fall of sports entertainment. Not WWE, sports entertainment. Hashtag fall sports entertainment 2015.
Yes, and also hashtag RC Cola.
Okay. Shut up.
Also, 2015, Under the Mat Radio is doing a lot more than what's going to happen now, so be on the lookout. We're having a like page that's starting the first of the year, so be on the lookout for that.
Yes. All right. And more major announcements. Love you much, guys. Hashtag RC Cola. Hashtag hatred towards Sony.
Oh, my God.
And we will talk
Happy
to y'all
holidays.
Next week.
Enjoy your Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yes, next week.
Amen.
Yes. Like your Game Boy, as Eric says.
Shut up.
Oh.
Love y'all much. Next week.
Oh.